Harry didn't run home for a garden party. He ran because Tyler Perry just detonated the bomb they never saw coming. 17 hours of raw, unfiltered tapes, allegedly recorded inside Perry's mansion, now threaten to expose the Sussexes like never before. Media manipulation, secret strategy meetings, even private rants that contradict everything they've sold to the world. And the worst part, insiders say Perry's not bluffing. He's got the footage. He's been approached. And Harry's sudden trip to the UK. That's not coincidence. That's panic. This isn't just a royal scandal. It's the unraveling of a brand built on lies, and it's already started. So here's the thing, Harry didn't just quietly book a trip to the UK, he bolted. No announcement, no royal invitation, no press coverage until it was too late. Just gone. Like a teenager sneaking out the back door with a suitcase and a guilty look on his face. Not some family obligation. It's Tyler Perry. Yeah, the same guy who once played fairy godfather and gave Harry and Meghan a mansion when they fled the palace. Turns out, he might have also been recording everything that went down inside those luxury walls. Allegedly, over 17 hours of behind-the-scenes footage, unfiltered, unscripted, and very, very inconvenient. And insiders say Harry got word that some of those tapes might be in play, as in being offered to media outlets, as in multiple millions being discussed for the exclusive rights, the kind of deal that could flip their perfectly curated image on its head. So Harry did what he does best lately, Ron, back to the UK, not for damage control with the family, but to get as far away as possible from the blast zone. But here's the twist: running doesn't solve anything when the footage could be leaked globally at any moment. One source close to Perry claims that what's on those tapes could make the Oprah interview look like a fairy tale. We're talking secret media strategy sessions, heavily rehearsed authentic moments, and private complaints about family members that contradict their public sob stories. Meghan Markle, Meghan Sussexes, said to appear completely different when she doesn't know cameras are rolling. Less royal victim, more Hollywood director. One viewer described the vibe as a cross between a PR war room and Real Housewives meltdown. And Harry, well, let's just say Prince Charles wasn't the deadbeat dad Meghan's team made him out to be. At least Charles didn't run to America, marry a yacht girl, and then act like he was still an active royal giving speeches no one asked for. Honestly, why is Harry still pretending he represents the crown? It's like showing up to a family reunion you were kicked out of and still trying to give the toast. But back to the tapes. The question isn't if they exist. Multiple sources say they do. The question is when they'll drop. And based on Harry's sudden disappearance, he's not sticking around to find out. Biggest ally. Remember that tearful part in their Netflix doc where Meghan said Tyler was the only one who took their calls? He offered them his home security, privacy, support. He even became godfather to their daughter. Meghan once called him her guardian angel. Cute, right? But somewhere along the way, that halo slipped, and now it might be replaced by a vault key. During Perry's recent $260 million legal battle, mentions of Tyler started disappearing. Podcast references, quietly edited. Public shoutouts, gone. One insider said it was like watching someone erase a chapter from their memoir fast and without warning. And to those close to Perry, it looked like betrayal. Cold, calculated, familiar. If a person is not useful to her anymore, she ghosts them. That's not a tabloid headline. That's a direct quote from the comment section. Ouch. And it looks like Perry noticed. 2. Now here's where it gets wild. People in Perry's circles say the footage wasn't recorded by accident. It wasn't. Some security camera footage or friendly home videos. No. We're talking full-blown high-quality recordings, almost like insurance. One source even called it receipts with cinematic lighting. Allegedly, why would he do that? Maybe because he saw the writing on the wall. Maybe he knew the Sussex story wasn't as flawless as they wanted it to appear. Or maybe, just maybe, he never fully trusted them either. After all, this is Hollywood. Loyalty lasts until the camera cuts. And if even half of what's rumored is true, that footage could bury the entire Sussex brand. We're talking about Meghan coaching Harry on what to say in interviews, practicing lines, repeating dramatic moments until they felt just right. See production. And let's be honest, Meghan's already being roasted online for trying to be Oprah without the credibility. As one early reviewer said about her upcoming cooking show, it felt like someone trying to be inspirational, but forgetting the inspiration. So where does that leave them? Stuck. The woman who once built a global brand on authenticity is now fighting off rumors that her whole image was rehearsed. And the man who once escaped the palace is back on the run. Not from family, but from facts. Real ones, not in Perry. Silent, completely, in silence, when you have that much power. Isn't weakness, it's strategy. Let's be clear, this isn't about 1 or 2 sneaky iPhone clips. Footage allegedly recorded by Tyler Perry while Harry and Meghan stayed under his roof. And no, this wasn't some paranoid security setup. It was reportedly intentional. Every moment, private convos, unfiltered rants, brand meetings captured while the Sussexes thought they were in their safe space. Turns out, the sanctuary had surveillance. Insiders say Perry began recording not for betrayal, but for protection. Maybe he knew things might turn ugly. Maybe he just didn't like being used. Media image like a Hollywood campaign. Imagine them rehearsing those spontaneous moments, Harry adjusting his tone, Meghan testing her crying angle, authentic. More like audition tape. The worst part, the recordings reportedly show them mocking palace staff, contradicting their public complaints, and even strategizing how to frame their next victim narrative. If this leaks, the entire truth-telling foundation they built crumbles. Suddenly, the royal family won't look like the villains and that victim card Meghan loves to play. It might get revoked. Honestly, Meghan Markle, the Queen of I, don't know what this means, but I'm going to say it anyway. If this footage drops, we'll finally know what she really meant, and it won't be pretty. You'd think with all their fame. But behind those Montecito mansion gates, things are starting to collapse. Remember that $100 million Netflix deal? It's reportedly been slashed to $20 million. Projects canceled. Viewership underwhelming. That mega deal was supposed to bankroll. Their new life it barely covers their property taxes now. Meghan's once hyped lifestyle brand is allegedly stalled. Her clean eating cooking show, early feedback was brutal. Critics called it stiff, out of touch, and about as relatable as a palace chandelier. And her podcast comeback quietly shelved. No date, no promo, just silence. And silence doesn't sell. Not in Hollywood. Not in crisis. Even their charity, Arkawell, is feeling the heat. Donors are pulling out. Interest is fading. Turns out, rich people don't like throwing money at sinking ships, especially when those ships are captained by two people who seem more focused on staying in the spotlight than actually doing the work. What empire? Meghan has no empire. Not when your brand depends on relevance, and all you're doing is hiding behind PR walls. The money's drying up. The narrative is cracking. The mansion, and with Perry holding the keys, to a ticking PR time bomb, Meghan and Harry are looking less like royalty and more like reality TV. Stars praying their next season doesn't get canceled. Inside the Montecito mansion, things aren't glamorous, they're tense. Meghan's inner circle, once filled with PR experts, glam squads, and stylist song call, has thinned out. Staffers are walking, others were let go, and the ones who stayed, they're either terrified or signing NDA updates so tight they might as well be duct tape. The Sussexes aren't planning their next big move. They're circling the wagons. Sources describe the house as more bunker than home. Conversations are whispered. Every call checked. Every visitor vetted. Even staff with years of loyalty are being questioned. Why? Because no one knows who's leaking. And let's be honest, when you build your brand on controlling the narrative, the idea of someone else holding the story, that's your worst nightmare. There's paranoia now. Meghan isn't strutting into meetings with that Hollywood Duchess confidence anymore. She's cautious, defensive, guarded. Some say she's scared. Others say she's calculating. But everyone agrees the vibe has shifted. And not in a good way. Remember when Meghan was doing interviews in designer suits talking about global change? Now her strategy meetings are allegedly off the record, off the calendar, and sometimes off-site because even her own walls might be listening. And that, my friends, is what panic disguised as privacy looks like. While Meghan and Harry scramble, behind the scenes, Hollywood is watching and slowly backing away. Not with drama, not with statements, just silence. Cold, professional silence. Industry insiders say the Sussex brand no longer feels safe. The PR risk is too high. The shine is gone. The curiosity dried up. Event invites are being pulled. Brand deals are stalling. Meghan's glam royal hybrid image has faded into uncertainty. And uncertainty doesn't attract investment, it repels it. Because, let's be real, no one in Beverly Hills wants to be the next person ghosted when Meghan rebrands again. Even her Hollywood Alyssum, of whom helped open those early doors, are allegedly pulling away. Not because they hate her, but because they don't want to get caught in the crossfire if Perry drops the tapes. One exec reportedly said, "She's radioactive right now." That's not from a gossip blog. That's from inside the same industry that once hailed her as a post-royal powerhouse. And Harry. Let's just say the former prince turned motivational speaker routine isn't landing. His appearances are getting canceled. Bookings are down. And behind the scenes, organizers are asking if he's worth the risk. Turns out, giving speeches like you're still a working royal when the actual royals cut you off isn't just delusionally to off-putting. The Sussex brand, once shiny and rebellious, is now unstable and unpredictable. And when your strongest asset is control but someone else has the footage, you've already lost it. Tyler Perry hasn't said a word, not a leak, not a tweet, not a whisper. And that's what's making everyone sweat. Because when someone with that much alleged footage, that much access, and that much motive says nothing, it's not because they have nothing to say. It's because they're holding all the cards and letting you panic behind the scenes. Networks are allegedly circling. Offers are being made. Some say Perry's already been approached with multi-million-dollar deals for exclusive rights to the recordings. And guess what? Harry and Meghan might not even get a heads up before it all goes live. One day they wake up and, boom, their secrets are headline news. The legal questions are swirling too. If Perry recorded it all in his home, and Meghan and Harry were aware of his documentation habits, does he own the footage? Some say yes. Others point to privacy laws. But here's the kicker. Even if it never airs, the threat alone is already shaking their empire. The fear of exposure is often more destructive than exposure itself. And while Meghan operates like she's under siege, canceling meetings, ramping up security, rotating staff like playing cards, one truth is creeping closer. You can't silence someone who doesn't need to speak. Perry's silence isn't passive, it's strategic. And when silence holds this much weight, it becomes a weapon. So let's get real. If Tyler Perry drops even 10 minutes of those tapes, Meghan's entire brand could go up in smoke. We're not talking about bad PR. We're talking about a full-blown credibility implosion. The woman who once convinced the world she was the victim of a cruel royal machine might soon be exposed as the mastermind behind a scripted media empire. And Harry, he'll either be seen as complicit or clueless. Honestly, which is worse? The silence from Perry isn't mercy, it's power. And right now, the people who once ghosted him are praying he doesn't use it. But let's not pretend. Meghan doesn't have a pattern. If a person's not useful anymore, she ghosts them. That's not a rumor. That's the reputation she's left behind. Maybe Tyler's just the first one powerful enough to ghost her back, with receipts. And if this story breaks the way insiders claim, the Sussexes won't be remembered as brave truth-tellers, but as two actors who fumbled the final scene. Trust me, this isn't the last twist in this saga. The real story, it's just starting. And when it hits, you won't want to be the person who hears about it after it explodes. So if you want to stay ahead of the spin, see the leaks before they get cleaned up, and catch the truth before it's buried again. Well, you know where to find it, because when Perry finally speaks, you'll hear it here first.